How did Vikings sleep through deadly blizzards without freezing? Hello guys, today we will know about how Viking people slept through deadly blizzards without freezing. We will move slowly, calmly. This narration is meant to help you relax, to rest, and to fall gently into sleep. Imagine a northern settlement near a cold fjord, around the 9th century. The land is dark for long hours. Snow rests heavily on earth and roof. Wind moves quietly but without mercy. Night comes early here. Not sudden, but steady. Light fades behind mountains. And cold settles into everything. The settlement is small. Houses stand close together. Not for comfort, but for shelter. For shared warmth and survival. Paths between homes are narrow. Packed hard by feet and sleds. Snow is pushed aside again and again, creating low walls of ice and earth. Oil lamps glow faintly at night. Their light weak but steady, reflected on snow, guiding careful steps. There are no wide streets. Only paths shaped by habit, leading from home to home, from hearth to hearth. The houses are long and low, built close to the ground. Walls made of timber, stone, and turf, thick enough to resist the wind. Grass and earth cover the roofs. Heavy sod laid carefully. Snow gathers on top, adding another layer of insulation. Inside, space is small and shared. Families live together. People and animals sometimes under one roof. Warmth held close. A hearth burns at the center. Always watched. Never allowed to fade completely. Fire is life here. The smoke rises slowly, finding its way through roof openings, lingering inside for warmth, before drifting away. The floor is packed earth, covered with straw, reeds, and hides, softened by use, and warmed by bodies. Beds are simple, wooden frames, or raised platforms, filled with straw, dried grass, and wool. Blankets layered thick. People sleep close together. Not for comfort, but for survival. Shared heat matters. Clothing is never removed completely. Wool tunics, heavy trousers. Cloaks pulled close. Caps kept on heads. Wool is precious. Spun slowly by hand. Worn until thin. Then patched, and worn again. Children sleep between adults, wrapped in shared blankets. Their breathing soft, kept warm by closeness. Outside, the blizzard moves across the land. Snow driven sideways by wind. Sound muted. The world feels distant. Inside, the house holds steady. Walls block the worst of the storm. Roof bends under weight, but remains firm. Before sleep, food is prepared. Simple meals, warm and slow. Barley porridge, oat gruel. Sometimes dried fish or meat. Bread is coarse, dark and dense, broken by hand, shared carefully. Meals are eaten near the hearth. Bowls held close. Steam rising gently. Warming faces. After eating, the fire is banked. Ash pulled over glowing coals. Heat trapped beneath. To last through the night. This is done carefully. With practiced hands. Passed down through generations. Fire management is survival. Even in sleep, someone wakes to tend it. Adding fuel slowly. Listening to the wind. Feeling the cold shift. The storm may last days. Sometimes longer. Snow piles against doors. Sealing the house inside silence. People do not leave unless needed. Work turns inward. Repairing tools. Spinning wool. Women sit near the fire. Hands moving steadily. Spinning thread. Mending worn clothing. Men carve wood. Repair sleds. Sharpen blades. Quiet tasks for cold days. Children help quietly. Fetching straw. Holding tools. Learning by watching. There are no schools as we know them. Learning comes through daily life. Stories told softly. Lessons carried in words and example. When blizzards pause. Brief daylight appears. Men step outside carefully. Checking animals. Livestock are sheltered close. In small byres. Or within the longhouse itself. Their warmth shared. Animals breathe steadily. Steam rising from bodies. Sounds soft and calming. Life close to life. Snow must be cleared from roofs. Carefully, slowly. Too much weight brings danger. Every task done with patience. The cold never leaves completely. Even inside. Fingers ache. Breath remains visible. But people know this cold. They respect it. They do not fight it. They work with it. At night, darkness deepens. Storm clouds hide stars. Wind presses against walls. Testing every seam. Inside, people settle again. Bodies close. Blankets adjusted. Children soothed. Stories are told softly. Old tales, familiar ones. Of ancestors, of journeys. Spoken slowly. Voices are low. Words few. Silence allowed to stretch. Comfort found in stillness. Sleep comes in cycles. Not deep. But steady. Broken by fire tending. When someone wakes. They move quietly. Careful not to lose warmth. Hands reach for embers. Fuel is added slowly. Dried wood. Sometimes peat. Anything that burns steadily. The fire responds gently. Not flaring. Just glowing. Holding back the cold. Morning does not come brightly. Light seeps in slowly. Gray and pale. Filtered through snow. If the storm still rages. Day is treated like night. Work remains inside. Food is rationed. Supplies are planned for winter. long before storms arrive. Fish dried in summer. Meat cured and stored. Grain is kept carefully. Protected from damp. Measured with care. Every portion matters. Water is fetched from ice. Broken carefully. Melted near the hearth. Never wasted. Clothing is dried slowly. Too close to fire risks damage. Too far invites frost. Balance is learned early. Hands are rough. Skin cracked by cold. Fat and oil rubbed in. Protection against the wind. Faces are lined early in life. Not by age alone, but by weather. By endurance. Children learn caution quickly. Cold teaches without mercy. They stay close. They listen. When storms finally ease, the world emerges slowly. Snow covers everything. Sound remains soft. People step outside carefully. Paths reopened. Doors unbarred. Life resumes. But night will return again. And storms with it. So shelters are checked. Firewood counted. Each evening, the same routine. Food, fire, closeness. Sleep taken carefully. Prepared for interruption. This is how Vikings endure blizzards. Not through strength alone, but through patience. Through routine. They sleep not in comfort, but in knowledge. Knowledge of fire. Of shelter. Night after night. Storm after storm. The longhouses hold. And life continues. Breathing slows. Fire glows softly. Snow presses against walls. And sleep returns. The wind moves endlessly outside. Across frozen land and sea. Inside, the hearth remains. Quiet, steady. The night stretches long. But warmth remains. Held carefully. Until morning comes again. The blizzard does not end quickly. It lingers. Hour after hour. Pressing against the longhouse walls. Inside the Viking home, time moves differently. There is no clear day or night. Only light from the hearth. And the slow passing of warmth. The fire is never trusted fully. Even when it glows strong. Someone always listens. For the sound of dying embers. Ash is shifted carefully. Not stirred too much. Not left untouched. Balance is learned through long winters. The air inside the house feels heavy. Thick with smoke. With the smell of wool and earth. But it is warmer than the storm outside. People move slowly. Quick motion steals heat. So every step is measured. Every task deliberate. Children are kept close. Wrapped tightly. Their small hands tucked inside blankets. Their breathing watched. Mothers adjust coverings often. Pulling wool higher. Tucking edges beneath bodies. Preventing cold air from creeping in. Men sit near the hearth. Not idle. But working quietly. Repairing tools worn by use. Knives are sharpened slowly. Wood is carved with care. Handles reshaped. Everything prepared for when the storm breaks. The sound of wind changes through the night. Sometimes low. Sometimes sharp. A reminder of danger held at bay. Snow presses against the door. Freezing hard. Sealing the house shut. Turning the world inward. No one tries to leave. They know better. The cold takes without warning. Patience keeps life. Food is eaten sparingly now. Storms can last many days. Bowls are filled less, but shared equally. Porridge is thinner. More water than grain. Still warm. Still comforting. Dried fish is chewed slowly. Its salt sharp on the tongue. Strength comes quietly. Not in fullness. Water is melted from snow. Collected in small amounts. Heated gently near the fire. Never boiled too long. Children are taught not to spill. Not to play near embers. Cold makes mistakes costly. Learning comes early. Sleep comes and goes. Never deep for long. Someone always wakes. To tend the fire. Blankets are rearranged again. Bodies shift closer. Shared warmth builds slowly. Cold pushed back bit by bit. The roof creaks softly under snow. A familiar sound. Listen to carefully. Understood through experience. If weight grows too heavy, men rise quietly. Climb onto the roof. Brush snow away by feel. They work without words. Faces wrapped. Hands numb. Returning quickly to warmth. Inside again. The fire welcomes them. Steam rises from frozen wool. Life settles once more. Stories are told in fragments. Not long tales. Just remembered lines. Enough to calm children. Voices fade quickly. Silence returns. Broken only by wind. And steady breathing. The storm may rage outside. But inside, routine holds. Routine is protection. Routine is warmth. Hours pass. Then more. The hearth continues its quiet duty. Holding the night back. Eventually, the wind softens. Snow falls straight. Sound returns slowly. The world waits. Inside the longhouse. People remain close. Fire still guarded. Sleep taken carefully. Another night endured. Another storm survived. Not through force, but through knowledge. Breath slows again. Blankets settle. The hearth glows low. And rest returns. The storm loosens its grip only slightly. Wind still moves across the land. But with less force. As if growing tired. Inside the longhouse, people sense the change. Not through sound. But through feeling. Cold shifts in small ways. The fire is adjusted once more. Ash moved carefully. Fuel added in small pieces. Never all at once. Morning light does not arrive clearly. It seeps in through roof gaps. Gray and thin. Blending with smoke. Someone rises quietly. Moving slowly to avoid waking others. Feet find familiar ground. Hands reach for warmth. Snow still presses against the walls, but no longer strikes them hard. The house breathes again, holding steady. Work begins gently. Straw is shifted. Damp hides turned. Clothing checked for frost. Wool cloaks are brushed free of ice. Hung near the hearth. Turned off so they dry without stiffening. Food is prepared again. Grain measured carefully. Water added slowly. Porridge warmed, not rushed. Children wake one by one. Faces pale in the cold air. They are wrapped quickly. Kept close to adults. They help in small ways. Holding bowls. Passing tools. Learning through quiet repetition. Men step outside briefly. Only when the wind allows. Checking the door. Clearing packed snow. Paths are reopened slowly. Using hands and wooden tools. Snow piled to the side. Movement returning cautiously. Animals are checked next. Their breath rises in soft clouds. They shift restlessly. Glad for attention. Feed is given carefully. Stores are counted again. Nothing wasted. Nothing forgotten. The sound of the storm fades further. Wind becomes distant. Snow falls straight down. The land grows still. Inside, the longhouse remains calm. Routine continues unchanged. Fire, food, closeness. Stability brings comfort. Voices remain low. Even as danger lessens. Winter teaches restraint. Silence remains a companion. As daylight lingers a little longer. People sit closer to the fire. Not sleeping now. But resting. Hands work steadily. Spinning, carving, mending. Small tasks filling time. Preparing for what comes next. The blizzard has passed. But winter remains. Cold stays near. Always waiting. Evening approaches again. Light fades gently. Lamps are lit once more. Oil measured carefully. The fire is banked for night. As it always is. Ash drawn close. Heat held safely. Bodies settle into familiar places. Blankets layered thick. Children nestled between warmth. Breathing slows. Outside, the world lies quiet under snow. Inside, life continues. Steady, patient. Enduring. The land remains wrapped in snow. Not moving. Not changing. Only waiting. Inside the longhouse, the quiet feels deeper now. Not tense. But settled. As if the storm has left its memory behind. The fire is still watched closely. Winter does not forgive carelessness. Even when wind softens, cold remains ready to return. Morning arrives slowly, a pale light resting on packed snow, barely brighter than night, yet enough to begin again. People rise one by one, bodies stiff from sleep, limbs slow to warm, movement careful and patient. Straw bedding is shaken gently, not outside, only rearranged, keeping warmth within the house. Hides are checked for dampness, turned toward the fire, dried slowly, so they do not harden. Food is prepared again, grain measured by habit. Hands know the portion without counting. Porridge thickened just enough. Bowls are passed quietly. Steam lifts gently. Faces lean close to warmth. Eating is slow, deliberate. Children wake fully now, their eyes adjusting to light. They sit near the hearth, wrapped tightly. They help in small ways, holding cups, passing bits of wood, learning the rhythm of winter days. Outside, the door is opened briefly. Cold air slips inside, sharp and clear, then shut out again. Men step into the snow cautiously, testing the ground, listening for wind, judging the sky. The world beyond the house feels wide, empty, covered in white. Sound carried far. Tracks from the storm are softened. Paths are not yet clear. Travel is still limited. Winter keeps its hold. Animals are tended carefully, fed slowly. Water broken from ice. Life sustained with patience. Inside again, warmth is welcomed. Hands held near fire. Fingers slowly regain feeling. No rush. Tools are checked once more. Blades wiped clean. Wooden handles dried. Prepared for when work resumes. Women return to spinning and mending. Wool drawn carefully. Thread guided by steady hands. Clothing repaired again and again. Stories are not told now. Not needed. Routine itself brings comfort. Familiar sounds soothe the mind. Smoke drifts lazily upward, lingering beneath the roof, then escaping slowly. The air remains warm. As the day moves on, light fades almost unnoticed. Winter days are short. Night always near. The fire is fed again. Not brightly. Just enough. Keeping balance through the dark. Evening settles quietly. No clear moment marks its arrival. Only shadow deepening. And bodies growing still. Children lie down first. Placed carefully between warmth. Their breathing soft. Their sleep quick. Adults follow slowly. Blankets adjusted. Cloaks pulled close. Cold kept at distance. Outside, snow reflects faint starlight. The world silent once more. Inside, the hearth glows low, holding the night back. The blizzard is gone. But winter remains. And the longhouse stands ready. As it always has. Breath slows. Fire settles. Time stretches gently. And rest returns. The days after the storm move slowly. Not marked by urgency, but by careful return to routine. Winter still shapes every choice. Inside the longhouse, the air feels steadier now. Smoke drifts gently upward. The hearth holds its place. Warmth remains guarded. Morning light grows slightly clearer. Still pale. Still cold. But no longer hidden by driving snow. People rise with familiar movements. Limbs stiff. Breath visible. Bodies waking gradually. The fire is tended again. Ash drawn aside. A small piece of fuel added. Just enough. Water is warmed slowly. Never rushed. Used carefully. Shared without waste. Food remains simple. Grain cooked long. Fish cut thin. Meals meant to sustain, not satisfy. Children sit close to the hearth. Wrapped in wool. Watching quietly. Learning patience through stillness. They are given small tasks. Holding bowls. Passing tools. Sweeping straw back into place. Outside, the door opens more often now. Briefly. Cold air enters and leaves. The house breathes again. Men step out to check paths. Snow packed hard beneath boots. Silence wide and deep. Sound carrying far. They clear narrow ways between homes. Using wood and hands. Working slowly. Stopping often to warm fingers. The settlement begins to reconnect. House to house. Hearth to hearth. Life reaching outward carefully. Animals are tended with renewed care. Feed measured again. Water freed from ice. Their presence steady and reassuring. Inside, work resumes its quiet flow. Spinning. Carving. Mending. Tools are repaired where needed. Handles tightened. Edges checked. Prepared for harder labor ahead. Women sit near the fire. Hands moving rhythmically. Wool drawn and twisted. Thread building slowly. Men shape wood for sleds and tools. Knives moving carefully. Shavings falling softly. Work done without haste. The sound of wind has softened. Now only a low presence. Moving across snow. No longer a threat. As daylight fades again. People gather closer to warmth. Movement slows. Energy conserved. The fire is prepared for night. Ash spread evenly. Heat held beneath. A skill refined by long winters. Children lie down first. Placed between warmth. Blankets tucked close. Sleep comes easily. Adults settle next. Bodies tired. Minds quiet. Rest accepted without resistance. Outside, the land remains frozen. Still and pale. Waiting for change. But not yet. Inside the longhouse. Breathing slows. The hearth glows softly. Routine holds steady. Winter continues its long presence. But life remains calm, careful, and enduring. The quiet days continue to unfold. Not quickly, not slowly, but at a pace the body has learned to trust. Inside the longhouse, the rhythm feels settled now. No longer shaped by fear of the storm, but by deep winter itself. A season known and accepted. The hearth burns with a steady glow. Not bright. Not weak. Just enough to keep the cold at bay. Ash is moved with practiced care. Hands know the right moment. Too early wastes heat. Too late invites chill. Morning light arrives again. Faint and pale. Resting briefly on snow outside. Then slipping away. People rise without words. Blankets are folded back slowly. Warmth released only a little at a time. Cold greeted with patience. Straw bedding is pressed flat again. Hides are adjusted. Sleeping places prepared for the next night. Nothing left careless. Water is warmed as always. Snow melted gently. Never hurried. Never wasted. Food is shared quietly. The same simple meals. The same steady portions. Comfort found in familiarity. Children remain close to the fire. Their movements small. Their voices soft. Winter has taught them restraint. They listen more than they speak. Watching adults work. Learning by repetition. By example. Outside, the settlement stirs a little more each day. Paths are clearer now. Snow packed firm beneath feet. Movement possible again. Men step out to repair damage left by the storm. Checking roofs. Strengthening walls. Replacing packed sod where needed. Work is done slowly. Cold still bites at fingers. Wind still moves across the land. Caution never leaves. Animals are brought out briefly. Allowed small movement. Then guided back to shelter. Their needs carefully balanced. Inside again, warmth is welcomed without haste. Hands hover near the fire. Feeling returns gradually. Pain avoided through patience. Women continue their quiet labor. Spinning wool. Weaving simple cloth. Mending what winter has worn thin. Threads grow slowly. Cloth takes shape over many days. Nothing rushed. Nothing wasted. Tools are handled with care. Metal kept dry. Wood protected from damp. Prepared for the months ahead. The longhouse holds the sounds of life. Soft scraping. Low murmurs. The steady breath of animals and people. As the day fades again. Light thins. Shadows deepen. The familiar closeness returns. The fire is adjusted for night. Ash drawn close. Fuel placed carefully. Heat saved for long hours. Children lie down first. Placed between warmth. Blankets pulled high. Sleep coming quickly. Adults settle in silence. Bodies resting where they always do. Routine guiding each movement. Comfort found in repetition. Outside, snow reflects faint light from the sky. The land quiet. Frozen. Patient. Inside the longhouse. Breathing slows. The hearth glows low. Winter holds its place. And through another night, life continues. Quiet. Steady. The night passes gently. Not without cold. But without struggle. The longhouse holds its calm. Morning returns in its familiar way. A pale light slipping across snow. Barely touching the earth. Then lingering quietly. Inside, people wake slowly. Bodies heavy from rest. Limbs stiff but willing. Routine begins again without words. The hearth is checked first. Ash shifted carefully. A small piece of fuel added. The glow steadies once more. Breath clouds the air briefly. Then fades as warmth returns. The house wakes with the fire. Together, as one. Straw bedding is pressed flat again. Hides are turned. Wool shaken gently. Preparing for the night to come. Water is warmed as always. Snow melted patiently. Steam rising softly. A quiet comfort. Food is prepared nearby. Grain stirred slowly. Fish warmed gently. No haste, no waste. Bowls are passed from hand to hand. Held close to the body. Steam warming faces. Eating becomes a moment of rest. Children sit near the hearth. Wrapped tightly. Eyes half-lidded. Listening to the soft sounds of work. They help in small ways. Holding tools. Passing wool. Sweeping straw back into place. Outside, the door opens wider now. Cold air enters cleanly. Sharp but clear. Then leaves again. Men step into the snow. Testing their footing. Listening to the wind. Reading the sky. Paths are firm beneath boots. Snow packed by time and use. Movement feels safer now. Though caution remains. They check roofs once more. Press sod into place. Brush away loose snow. Winter still demands care. Animals are led briefly outside. Their breath rising in soft clouds. They move slowly. Glad for the change. Feed is measured carefully. Stores checked again. Winter is not finished. Planning never stops. Inside the longhouse, work resumes. Spinning. Carving. Repairing tools worn thin. The sound of blades on wood is soft. Shavings fall quietly. Hands move with memory. Skill shaped by long seasons. Women guide thread steadily. Wool twisting between fingers. Cloth forming slowly. Each strand important. The air carries familiar scents. Smoke. Wool. Earth and hide. These smells mean safety. Shelter. Continuity. Life held together. As daylight fades again, movement slows. Energy is saved. The night approaches gently. The hearth is prepared once more. Ash spread evenly. Fuel placed just so. Heat guarded carefully. Children lie down first. Blankets layered. Bodies placed between warmth. Sleep comes quickly. Adults follow. Settling into known places. Limbs relaxing. Thoughts quiet. Outside, the land remains still. Snow reflecting faint light. Wind moving softly. No threat tonight. Inside, the longhouse breathes steadily. Fire glowing low. Bodies close. Winter held at bay. Another day closes. Not marked. Not counted. Simply lived. And as breathing slows, and warmth lingers, the night deepens. Quiet, steady, enduring.